It's really great to be here in celebration of water and in celebration of Bowker Creek. The tributary to Bowker Creek that runs through this park is just behind us here. I would encourage you, if you have not had a chance yet, there's a couple spots actually in behind the backstop over there that allow you to kind of come. It's not a flowing tributary at the moment because it's July, but it's nice and moist and lush down there, and there are horsetails and ferns, and I think there's ferns. There's beauty, and I would encourage you to go and say hello to Bowker Creek. Yeah, so I've been collaborating with the Friends of Bowker Creek on this concert series for the past 2 seasons. This is season 2 of Creekside Concerts. Yeah. And I'm very thankful for the support that the board members of that organization, Soren and Gerald and Ruth, who are here tonight, and Peter and Susan, who couldn't be with us, but are here in spirit. I'm thankful for the support they've provided in making the events happen. And I encourage you to go back. Gerald, can you give us a wave? Gerald is back there by the info table for Friends of Bowker Creek. So there's some interesting information about the creek and the watershed and ways that you can get involved with helping to restore that beautiful part of the landscape. You can also become a member for only $10 for an entire household for a full year. So I implore you, please consider that. Yeah, so I'm very thankful also to be able to spend time living and working and bringing people together for community events like this here in beautiful Lekwungen territory. And I'm really honored that, yeah, David, did I get it closer this time? Yes, I've been practicing. Also known as Brianna Bear, has agreed to join us again for this concert and welcome us here to beautiful Lekwungen territory. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago at our first concert, I met Brianna last year at the Bicycle Music Festival, which is another event that I helped put on. And I'm really grateful that I've had the opportunity to share space and with her and hear her speak at a number of events since then over the past year, and always just kind of soak in the wisdom and the warmth that emanates from her. So I'm really grateful that she's here. Thank you for coming. Heichka, please say hello to Brianna.
Hello. Yeah, that's good. I Skoicho, good day. ACM Siayat Nishtalacha, ACM Siayat Nishwalakwa, Heichka CM Niquilia here, Heichka CM Niquilia there, Heichka CM Lekwungen Tanga, Heichka CM was Saanich Tasuk in Mahat, Asa the Echiat, Hinitsa Lekwungen. So good day, my friends and relatives. It's great to see you all here today. I raise my hand and say thank you to all our honorable guests here in person and also online here. I raise my hands to the traditional holders of this land, the Lekwungen speaking people of the Songhees and the Esquimalt Nation in the lands called Lekwungen Tangach, which is the place to smoke herring, because it was prominent for our areas to have herring in them. And then I also raised my hands to the other surrounding nations, because particularly here in Victoria, we also had shared territories with our Saanich relatives. And then I always like to honor my Tasuk relatives and Malahat relatives, just to kind of expose people to the wider nations that surround us, because a lot of time people think there's only one nation when Songhees alone had about 7 different family groups, which unfortunately got broken down into 2 family groups, which was the Songhees and the Esquimalt Nation. But my traditional name is the Echlia, which loosely translates to older sister, or as James said, a lot of people know me as Brianna Bear. I come from the Songhees Nation through my father's side of the family here in Victoria, which is Lahihalat, Skip Dick, Linda Dick as my grandparents. And then my father, who my roots come from, is Samet, David Dick. And then I've been blessed with a mom who comes from the edge of Vancouver Island in a community in Alert Bay, the Kwakwaka'nungis people up there. My roots to that land is through my other grandparents, Norman Seaweed and the late Beverly Williams. And then my mom, Hatwina Polokwa, Leslie Seaweed, who does live here. She wishes she could be here, but she is on lockdown in a care home. So they've been very strict about that. But me and my partner go up and sing to her every once in a while, or I go up and sing because she says, "You need to sing for me. Get up here." So we do that. We listen to mom. But it's really my honor to be here and to kind of open up the event. When I first started doing these openings with my grandfather, Lahikala, he would tell me it's a way that we not only honor the protocol that we've had for hundreds and thousands of years, but it's also our way as people to honor each and every one of you, especially in this day and age where a lot of us do come from different homes, different countries, different communities and territories that sometimes we don't have a link to anymore. And so, in our ways, it's how we honor each and every one of you. But more importantly, it's also a reminder to ask you to walk gently here on this earth, to be kind to it, but also be kind to yourself. Walk with a good heart and a good mind. It'll come to you in time what that means. I know when my grandfather always repeated that to me and my sisters, we'd be like, how do we do that? Do we just hug everyone? Do we say hello? It's a learning process, but it comes to you because you learn to walk and listen with your heart, to reach out to those who you may not know. And though I may not always remember everyone that comes into my life and that I meet at different events, I'm always honored to meet each and every one of you, to welcome you to the traditional territory of the place to smoke herring, which is the Songhees and Esquimalt Nation. And that I hope with today you're able to listen with your heart, hear the music, be able to connect with one another in a social distance manner, of course. But I know, especially the fact that we're honoring water is such a big piece of our lives because water is healing to us. Water is something that we reach out to. I know when you cry, when I first learned about crying, my grandfather and my dad would always tell me, go splash your water, go splash the water in your face, let go of those emotions. Or if you're not feeling grounded, he would tell us to go take a spirit bath in the early morning, just before the sun rises, to cleanse yourself. Or in general, just to ground yourself with nature, whether that's being by the creek, whether that's taking a walk, or as one of my other grandfathers would tell me, go hug a tree, you'll be okay after. You don't look right, go hug a tree. Then we come back and all of us would be like, yeah, we hugged the tree, we feel better now. So I thought I would just share a Anishinaabe song that one of my sisters taught me. It's a water song, which seemed appropriate. I'm someone who's still learning a lot of my own songs to this territory. But I know with this Anishinaabe song, it's one that is known widely, so I thought I'd share that one. So, Haitka, thank you for everyone who's here today. Thank you to the organizers for always opening up your space in such a good way. And thank you to those who will be performing tonight, too. So. Wishita do ya, do ya, do ya. Wishita do ya, hey. Washa tamea, hey, hey. Washa tamea, hey, hey. Wichita do ya, do ya, do ya. Wichita do ya, hey. Washa tamea, hey, hey. Washa tamea, hey, hey. Wichita do ya, do ya, do ya. Wichita do ya, hey. Washa tamea, hey, hey. Washatamea, hey, Wichita, do ya, Wichita, do ya, hey. Washatamea, hey, Washatamea, hey. Hi, Chika. I'll be over there at my little art table.
Hi, Brianna. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Brianna is not only a kind and wise human, but also an amazing artist and has some beautiful art cards and maybe some stickers if we're lucky, and some tote bags. So at some point this evening, I encourage you to go over there and check out what she has on offer. Yeah, that was really beautiful. I'm so glad that you shared a song with us, Heichka. So up next, I'm excited to. Oh, I also wanted to mention. I said this last concert, but there's a really beautiful video series on the Open Space Gallery website. It's called Online on Land, and it has various Indigenous folks from the area speaking on the land as words. So Brianna's got a video on there. Sarah Jim, who's somebody who we've been involved with, she designs the posters for the Bicycle Music Festival. She's speaking up at Sneakwith, which is Finlayson Arm. Did I get that right? I'm not sure the English name. Yeah, so check that out. And there's also a really wonderful coloring book that the second one just came out featuring Sarah Jim, but the first one in the series, Brianna's got some beautiful artwork in that. So check out Open Space. So I'm really excited to introduce our poet for this evening, Jeremy Loveday. Jeremy was really kind to do this on really short notice. There were a couple other poets that young poets that I was trying to connect with for this event and was unsuccessful there. So I just contacted Jeremy, I think like 3 days ago on my way to Turner Island, and he said yes. I'm really thankful for that. So I met Jeremy not long after I moved here to Lekwungen Territory, almost 4 years ago now, and he was helpful in helping me navigate some of the things in the city that I needed to know about for starting the Bicycle Music Festival. So that was through his capacity as a city councillor for Victoria, but he's also an award-winning poet who speaks truth powerfully on social and environmental issues, gender violence, love, manhood, and leadership. So please put your hands together for Jeremy Loveday.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for the really generous and gracious welcome to this land. I want to recognize the territory of the Lekwungen people. I'm a settler on these lands, and it's a lifelong process to learn how to walk gently on them. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. This is probably my first event I've been at in months. Definitely my first time performing, not through a computer screen in many months. So so when the opportunity came up at the last minute, I jumped at it because I think we are very lucky to be in a place where we can do this safely right now, as long as we remain vigilant as we move forward. I've got a few poems to share with you. This first one. This first one is it's about grief. So starting a little heavy, and then we'll go on a little journey. But it's also mostly about my mom, and when my stepfather passed away almost a decade ago now. But he was very influential in supporting me in writing poems. And for 2 birthdays in a row, he gave me Howl by Allen Ginsberg when I was a teenager, and really wanted to support it. So this is that. It's 11 p.m. and I'm eating cereal with my mom. Sometimes this is what grief looks like. Our humor has grown dark, and we swing from it. And there are flowers, so many flowers, that our living room has become a tourist attraction. And I keep wanting to yell at all the tourists, like, how the hell do you know we have so many flowers in here? And the tourists, they would turn quickly and shuffle themselves back to their cruise ships. My mom and I, we've shuffled ourselves as far back as we can go. And now we're searching for our reflections in our sugary milk, in our sick jokes. See, my mom, she's a rock, but that doesn't mean she can't feel things deeply. It means she can hold space for others even when she is wounded. Today, she is wounded, and she wants to get me more cereal, and I want to get it for her. Both our bowls are full. There's soup in the fridge. Neither of us made it. It just appeared there with the flowers and the tourists, and it turns out the tourists were actually acquaintances here out of a sense of duty, not just to watch our wilting, and that's good, because my mom and I, we don't wilt. We hold up everything around us until we break. Today, we're not breaking. That'll happen weeks from now, when the soup is gone, when the last of the flowers is pulled petalless from the vase, and when my mom's house is no longer on the list of tourist attractions. In each death, we search for what lasts. And then we push through death, try to bring back only the living into the way that we live, but in that purple old creature of a house, I sit with it. I become intimate with death. Kiss it. Let it smolder. Let it shawl itself across my shoulders, a healthy weight that I hope to one day wear proudly, lightly even. And my friend, he tells me we need to keep death close in order to understand the gravity of the impact we're having on the world and on our future. And on the muted TV, Fort McMurray is burning. And a single petal flutter dances its way to the floor, and its subtle beauty feels cruel. A sick joke escapes my lips. I kiss my mom on the forehead, and I reach for the box of cereal. Thank you very much. This one is new. I've never performed it before. Very different. But it's, so when I was a teenager, I would go to punk shows. I was a little punk. And that was, I was really taken by a lot of things there. I would go by myself. I was the only kid, at least that I knew at my school, going to the shows, and was really moved by the anti-racist, anti-sexist, anti-exploitation politics and the do-it-yourself ethic. So I learned those things, but didn't really learn at that time what it meant to be a person of privilege and try to enact change and to live up to those things in my own life, or to recognize when maybe something that's safe for me isn't safe for other people. And this is a little bit about that, but it's also about the joy that I found in going to punk shows and being in the mosh pit. And it does have a content warning. It briefly mentions sexual harassment. It's called Elbows Up in the Mosh Pit, or How I Learned the Meaning of Safety. United in rage or fashion sense, our elbows, spiked jacket selves, heave and convulse in rapturous fluidity, dissociative joy of teens bullied at their own schools who bus to the loudest place in the city to hurl our bodies against each other to learn safety amongst bleeding lips in the pit. We were all equal, just sweat and release. But that's not true. It was mostly teenage male bodies rupturing from childhood. I remember thinking the girls who thrashed were tough and those on the sidelines scared. There's more to it than that, though. I remember the kid from the burbs with the stomp out sexist t-shirt who would grab girls' asses in the pit where it could plausibly be any hand, knee, foot accident. He denied it, and we all kept dancing. And I guess by we, I mean the guys. Everywhere that claims safety is a place where predators can shadow themselves. Often I've noticed they wear buttons proclaiming that they're the nice guy. I wanted to be a nice guy back then and felt so safe in the pit that I kept my elbows down, let the thrusts of the crowd push and pull my body, surrender myself to violent solidarity, be gargled and spat out like plastic garbage in the whitewash of a wave break, kinetic energy in the middle of Newt's cradle, only raising my arms to link with others, to form a circle, to hold back the crowd so a fellow punk could pick up their lost shoe, or pick up their glasses before they were smashed, or to pick someone up when they fell. That was the ethic. And other than that, I'd let each knee, fist, spike, shoulder hit me, rinse me, lift me up in community, and I'd think, here, we are all safe. Let's build a world more like that. Isn't this so cool that this is powered by a bicycle? This combines some of my very favorite things: art, bicycles, recognizing and celebrating watersheds. In your story earlier, I was talking about going to water to ground yourself, and I was feeling out of sorts today. That's what I call it when I feel not grounded. And I went and bathed in another great sacred watershed, the Gorge Waterway, it's so amazing to see the stewardship of our local watersheds and to see groups like those who are stewarding Bowker Creek and bringing them back to health and vibrancy and working to daylight them, which I think is also very exciting. Okay, this poem is another new one I've never performed before. It's called On Homecoming. My 90-year-old neighbor is gardening again. She has returned to her body enough to move her slippered feet from bed to the front yard where her hands touch soil like it was the first soil. Hands become water, a photograph, all the times her grandchildren visited and it was joyful despite her noise. As her neighbor, I can confirm that the volume button is broken on those kids, as it should be. Pack of rambunctious throats open with laughter. Tornado limbs breaking things with accidental velocity. Over the fence, I hear announcements of rules to games that are made up as the game goes on. Like all rules, I guess. But that's not today. Today, my neighbor is planting perennials, daylily delights, which will work a whole year to ready each flower to open only for a single day of glory, the fullest expression of hope, the work of joy. My neighbor, Sylvia, is tending to it, her walker cast aside, her pajama knees in dirt, fingers vining themselves into tendrils, curling around her hospital bracelet, twining up her arms, toes, bracing, rupturing, becoming taproot, becoming anchor, embracing earth fibrous shoots, webbing off in search of nutrients. She has placed a foxglove seed in her belly button. Carefully, she covers her skin with soil and mulch. Sylvia is gardening again, even though she will never see the blossoms, even though her house is a rental, even though her grandchildren will never trample these flowers and feel sorry but keep playing as they should, even though the garden will grow and each year the foxgloves will reach towards the sun, flowers stacked taller with Sylvia and her smiling daylily face making up the rules, whispering that the game will continue, although it is not a game, that this year she's going to bloom at night while no one is looking, and she will be beautiful. Nice, got the bell. Someone's got to pass me on the goose or something. It's another new one I've never performed before. This one, there's a poet out of Toronto. His name is Patrick DeBellin, and he's incredible. Actually, I run a youth spoken word festival for the last 11 years called Victorious Voices, and It brings high school poets together from usually about a dozen schools around the region to perform and compete in poetry slam, and we do workshops to build up to that. And I'm hoping that he'll come and be the featured performer this year, if we're allowed to have events. Anyways, so I've told you about him, but I haven't told you why I'm telling you about him. That he did a workshop, and it was called, he did what he called the Fear Write Challenge, and it was about writing what you're afraid of, and challenged other poets to do it as well. And I wrote this. So it's called What Do You Fear? I fear my own sharp tongue and cuts that last. I fear driving through the mountains with a quarter tank of gas. I fear not living. Even while I'm alive, I fear asphyxiation, bike crashes, forgetting how to cry. I fear not being full or noticing the creep of death. I fear that fear itself will take my breath. I fear my life of acceleration has made me unable to slow. I fear planting a lifetime of seeds and few will grow. I fear causing harm without having the chance to repair. I fear that sometimes I'm an asshole without being aware. A fear of my own thoughts made me surround myself with noise. I fear working too much and not in things that bring me joy. I fear my potential won't find me. Ego will guide me. There's lifetimes inside me and the time will be denied to me. I fear people won't be honest, even at my wake. Curate my stories, think they're doing it for my sake. They'll describe my mask, pass the flask. I fear that at my funeral, people won't dance. I fear that I'll find death before I find peace. I don't live in fear, but fear has a safe home living inside of me, because tonight, neither of us can sleep. Okay. One more? I got one more poem. This is a love poem. Yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. It's a lot of fun. It's called The Evolution of Love. Wonder what the first line is. There's water in my hummingbird chest, rhythm in the moon's molten breast. I am gravity, wholesome, God's floating apple. You are bioluminescent, drips from paddles at midnight. Come to me naked, out of the moonlit waters, show me that there's nothing. There's the shivering Pacific with the glow. I've heard it all in your laughter. And yours is the type of silence that I don't want to come between, so please don't judge me by my worst moments or even ask me what they were. Just know I'm going to overcome them, and when I do, with a buzzsaw in my throat, I will come to you and ask you to sing with me. For I know that these moments of chest pounding tranquility, these brief moments of still not understanding the meaning of life, but being the meaning of alive, I know they are fleeting. Heartbreakingly fleeting, forgivingly fleeting. And I don't know much about healing, but I do know we all deserve it. And that hard as it is, trading bad habits for gratitude is worth it. So come, let me warm you. Strip my clothes to the sand to join you. Bury your toes in memories. Blanket your godful awe with my body. We will hold each other as the moon holds the ocean, rocking to the rhythm of our organs that pound out ever more slowly, our hearts flapping, crustaceans, kelp, and starfish falling from our outstretched arms, humerus, metacarpals in numbered digits, molding of our bones. This is the transformation of love into flight, trading atoms with the wind, the song of the sun at night. It is the same brain chemical that teaches an insect to flap its wings, that keeps the human heart pumping, and is your hummingbird chest that reminds me to breathe. And so when we wake to the joy of the sun, say nothing, for I trust that this is a moment that you will hold silently in each of your laugh lines, and that you will remember as a perfect stage in your evolution. Thank you very much.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Let's hear it once again. Jeremy Loveday. I'm going to invite Soren up to the microphone now. So as I mentioned, this concert series is produced in collaboration with the Friends of Bowker Creek Society, and they're doing really good work to make sure that the Bowker Creek blueprint gets implemented. And Soren may tell you about that, or maybe you can take a look at it back at the table back there. But once again, Friends of Bowker Creek doing some great work. They are a member organization, and you can support their work by both going out to events that they have doing restoration work, but also by joining for $10 for one whole household for one entire year. So consider that, and here's Soren to tell you some more.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, James. And I have to follow Jeremy. My goodness, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed that. So who are the Friends of Bowker Creek? Hopefully you. Yeah. So James invited you to take the opportunity to join or renew your membership if you want. So we'll take care of that at the back table. And so tonight there's, I'm one of the directors of the Friends of Bowker Creek Society. There's Gerald Harris, there's Ruth Curry, and missing is Peter and Susan Haddon, who are also Friends of Cedar Hill Park. And so they, amongst all the other busy things that they do, they joined the Friends of Bowker Creek and are serving on the board. So we're a small and mighty board of directors, and we like to do projects. So when the pandemic hit, we dutifully went quiet. We suspended all our in-person meetings, and I was wondering when will it start up again? When will we get together? And it did. We just we couldn't hold ourselves back, and there's some interesting things going on. So these are the notes from Peter and Susan, all about this area here where we are, Cedar Hill Park, which has currently has a parks master plan that is due to go to Saanich Council in September. It's had lots of public input, and there's some ideas about this particular area here, which is known as, it's got a formal number to it. It's called Reach 17. So there's a big document called the Bowker Creek Blueprint, the 100-year action plan to restore the Bowker Creek watershed. And Gerald is hefting it over his head there. So it's a big document. And this, every part of the creek, every reach of the creek has a number to it. And this is Reach 17. And one of the reasons why it's actually in the Parks Master Plan, well, the Parks Master Plan says let's do the things that the blueprint says to do for Reach 17, which is remove invasive plant species and put in a detention pond over there to hold some of the water that's in the creeks, to relieve some of the flooding downstream. What else? There's a whole list of things that you can check out in goals for this particular reach that are in the blueprint. And there's an interesting fact. See, I highlighted the notes here in fluorescent. So there's interesting fact here, which I just realized, is that chum and coho salmon came right up Bowker Creek as far as this location, right here where the concert's being held. And that's kind of timely piece of information, because one of the projects that Gerald got going is a chum salmon study to bring chum salmon back to Bowker Creek. Wouldn't that be something? So the chum salmon study is actually for one of the lower reaches of the creek in Oak Bay at the mouth of the creek. But you got to start somewhere. And apparently Chum salmon, they're okay with just going a little ways up the creek. So, and the water quality is apparently is fine for Chum salmon to get established. So that's what we're proposing is a study to make that happen. And so just yesterday we put out the call for volunteers to join the Chum salmon stream keepers group. So that's where you can all, if you want to get involved, there's lots of different things that need to be done, fundraising and organizational work, assessment studies, learning biology and learning about the habitat, advocacy with the government, with the municipal districts. So there's lots of things to be done. So if you want to, you can check out our website, bokercreek.org, and there's lots of information there about the Chum salmon study. We're quite excited about this because that document, the Boker Creek Blueprint, doesn't talk about bringing salmon back into the creek, but because we're community free agents, we can say what we want, and we can speak and advocate for the things that goals and things that we want. So this is really an additional thing that that we can take on. Lots of things happen really slowly too. Have to learn to be patient. I've been involved in this as a volunteer since 2006, so that's 14 years, gradually getting more and more involved and learning more about the creek. And it's yeah, this is where we live. If you like to take an interest in it, come and talk to us more at the end. Is there anything else that I've forgotten? I hope everybody could hear that. Did you? Yeah. So it's not in the. It won't be in the webcast unless I repeat it all. The live stream. So yeah. So I'll just repeat it for the live stream, which is to actually release fry into the creek, and to prepare the initial nesting areas for them to get established. And yeah. So think of a high school student, say Oak Bay High School student, grade 9, releasing a Chum salmon fry into the creek, and then 3 years later, when they about the time when they're ready to graduate in grade 12, they may possibly see a salmon return in those lower reaches of Boker Creek. Wouldn't that be something? Hold that vision. Hold the vision. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you. Yes, that is okay. Well, we have come to the concert part of the Creekside Concert, which is always very exciting. So I'm really stoked about the music that we have this evening. We're going to be treated to some beautiful cello and violin. So Maria Wong and Shima Takeda both attended the University of Victoria for their music degrees, but strangely enough, not actually at the same time. But they met later on while playing in the pit for Les Miserables in Chemainus back in 2014. Since then, they've become quick friends and have been playing together as a duo for weddings and providing background music for other events. Maria and Shima also form half of the Breakwater Quartet, which is founded by Shima, and it's a string quartet that features classical and pop music, popular music, which are arranged for string quartet by the members themselves. So I'm very excited tonight. They're going to be playing selections from the Royal Fireworks by Handel, 3 duos by Beethoven, fittingly selections from water music, also by Handel. Salut d'amour.
Sorry, we went a little fast for a second.
That's all right.
Be back in a moment.
Sorry.
And then Passacaglia by Handel Halverson. So please welcome
Can't hear you still.
Shima and Maria. And just, Wow. Goosebumps. And it's not because it's cold, it's because the music was beautiful. Thank you so much, Shima and Maria. Let's hear it one more time. Shima Takeda and Maria Wang. I'm so glad that we were all able to be here for this beautiful evening together. And I want to give some thanks again. Brianna, thank you for being here and for welcoming us to this beautiful land. I encourage you all to go and say hello to Brianna and her husband Gordy, and to check out some of the beautiful artwork that she has on offer. I am proudly sporting a beautiful camas flower sticker that I bought at the last concert. It goes very well on water bottles. Thank you also to Jeremy Loveday for sharing those beautiful words of poetry. To Soren for speaking, and the rest of the Friends of Bowker Creek board. And of course to Shima and Maria for that wonderful set of music. So we're also grateful to both the District of Saanich for their financial support through the Community Events Grant that they give out, and also to the Saanich Legacy Foundation. So thanks to those two groups. I also want to give shout outs to Jay holding it down on sound over here, making things sound so beautiful all the time. Colin has been running the live stream. Hello, everybody on the live stream. Hello, internets. I hope you've had a good time. Sandy is back in the back corner there. If you haven't had a chance to make yourself a beautiful bird out of reclaimed cardboard, go visit Sandy before the night is out. Thank you, Sandy. Carissa's here taking photos. We'll be posting photos from this concert and the last one on the website soon. And I'll tell you, the last ones that I saw were very stunning. So thank you, Carissa. Kayla and Lee, thanks for volunteering at door and helping out on the bike supervision here. Lydia Beauregard designed the beautiful artwork for the series that's on our poster. And thank you to everyone who took a turn pedaling, and for all of you for being here. And my name's James. Thank you. So help us spread the word about the next Creekside concert. The final one of the season is taking place up at the headwaters of Bowker Creek on the UVic campus. And it'll be Friday, 2 weeks from now, the 31st at 6:30 p.m. Free tickets for that event will be released mid next week, I think Wednesday morning, via Eventbrite. And we're asking if you've been able to join us for one of the other concerts here in person, hold off a bit and don't snap up tickets right away, so it gives a chance for other folks to be here. But you can find out more at creeksideconcerts.ca, and please tell your friends. You can also check out the live stream archives of tonight and last week on the Tune Your Ride YouTube channel. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you to everybody who's helped to put this on and encouraged this, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a beautiful night.
We were wondering, we didn't see you did it with their mind.
Well, I was thinking that it was maybe on a timer or it sends a little pedal. Genius.
Oh, that's attached to your iPad.
Yeah, Bluetooth.
All right, well,
Genius.
that's it for this live stream. Hope you had a great time.
The
We'll
official title.
see you at the next one.
It's a Passacalia. It's like
You have a pedal on your iPad?
It's
here's the name.